Hello, my name is Mar DiCarlo. I am the founder of the International Parenting and Health Institute. You can visit us at parentinghealthinstitute.com to find out about all of our offerings. We transform lives and evolve humanity through the professional training programs that we offer. Today, I want to talk about an email that was forwarded to me about high needs babies. And I thought this was a really great topic to bring attention to for many reasons. First of all, it ties into our holistic approach to things. So I want to shed a little bit of light to that and also shed some light on why it is very important to go beyond labels, especially when it comes to our children. Going beyond labels for any person is very important, but especially for children and as we are supporting them through their development. So the question that came in is, I'm doing some research on high needs babies. I was wondering if you have or can recommend any literature or studies on it regarding how to improve their sleep. Okay, so the term high needs is a very general term, and this is what happens a lot of times. Same thing with sensitive babies, high needs babies, difficult babies. There's so many terms that we box babies into. And then as a result, we come up with solutions to deal with those general terms. And often we don't go beyond those general terms. Oh, high needs babies, here's how you deal with the high needs babies. But what many people do not do is that they don't go beyond that to ask, well, what is behind that behavior? So what is a high needs baby and what is behind that behavior? There's so much that I want to say. So I want to also bring attention to the way that we word things. Our behavior is our behavior. We all behave the way that we do. Well, first of all, let me go ahead and share the definition of behavior, okay? So this is something that I do in our sleep course. And I think in general, it's important for people to understand the definition of behavior. When we understand what behavior is, it gives us an opportunity to have compassion. It's not to excuse people from having the consequences for their behavior, okay? But what it is it allows us to understand what is happening and what possibly caused that behavior. Because often we don't ask, what's causing that behavior? We just notice someone's behavior and automatically we make assumptions and then we react. And usually it's without compassion if we don't like that behavior. Behavior is the way in which one acts or conducts themselves, especially towards others, right? That's more of the general term of it. So if we're looking for a deeper understanding of the definition of behavior, behavior is the actions and mannerisms made by individuals, organisms, systems, or artificial entities in conjunction with themselves or their environment, which includes the other systems or organisms around, as well as the inanimate physical environment. It is the computed response. Okay, so this is the key. Behavior is a computed response of the system, okay, in this case, a child, person, to various stimuli or inputs, whether internal or external, conscious or subconscious, overt or covert, voluntary or involuntary. Taking behavior informatics perspective, a behavior consists of actor, operation, interactions, properties, etc. So behavior is a response, okay? It's a way of responding based on internal, external stimuli that is being received. And there are many reasons for various behaviors. So when we define a high needs baby and we categorize a baby as a high needs baby, let's go look at the definition of a high needs baby. A high needs baby is often fussy, demanding, and well difficult. Now, when you read that statement, to me, and everybody can interpret it the way that they want, for me, when I read that a high needs baby is often fussy, demanding, and well difficult, already I'm feeling that is a perspective that feels almost disempowering, like you have a high needs baby, a fussy, demanding, difficult. What if we got rid of all those labels and just recognized that a child has a certain behavior based on something? They're behaving the way they are due to a reason. So let's find out what that reason is. Now, yes, for the parent, it feels demanding. For the parent, it feels difficult, okay? And we're also assuming that all parents will respond the same way. Some parents will find that a child that is semi-fussy is very difficult, while some other parents will find a child that is semi-fussy like nothing. So there's also that assumption being made too, that everyone who deals with every child who has a certain behavior is also going to perceive them the same way, which is a whole nother topic as well. So there's so many labels being brought into the mix, and what I like to do is to get to the root of things, especially when we're working to support children in their development. And in this case, this person asked about sleep and how to work with a high needs baby in sleep. The response to that is, high needs baby is a very general term, and because children get categorized in such a general way, often the root of a child's high needs or behavior is often overlooked, which is what we teach also about sleep, right? When children or anyone is having a sleep challenge, we want to get to the root. Same goes for nutrition challenge, any health challenge. In order to improve a high needs baby's sleep, which was the question asked, first you have to understand the source or root of what is being considered high needs. What is the challenge? What is it mostly related to? There are so many reasons a child can be high needs. It can relate to pregnancy experience, birth experience, inherited psychological patterns, could be the developmental issues, just their personality, behavior, nutrition. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on. So according to this article by 12 Signs Your Baby's a High Need, this is from Dr. Sears, characteristics of a high need baby include intense. He's going to be a handful. The cry of a high need baby is not a mere request, it's an urgent demand, okay? The intensity of the baby's feelings and the body language. So it's important to understand why that is. We may not always right away understand the why, but we know that something led to that behavior. And even from some incredible work being done, like for example, Mark Wolynn wrote this book, It Didn't Start With You. And it's about how we inherit patterns and behaviors from our ancestors. So a child could easily have inherited an experience or have gone through something or is dealing with something else. We don't know, we don't have a clue. The important thing to understand is that when someone is intense, there's a reason for that. And before going and boxing them into, high needs and how we deal with high needs, let's see if we can actually dig a little deeper to understand where that intensity is coming from, if we can, right? Let's just be open and curious, if anything. Hyperactive, that's another characteristic. Wiry, and there could be lots of reasons for that too. Draining, they extract every bit of energy from the parents. So again, why? Feeds frequently, okay? And again, this is another something to understand, because a lot of times, especially with formulas today and nutrition, and also with parents' moods and behavior, their stress levels and what they're eating and if they're breastfeeding, there's so much there that we can easily get into. So, okay, feeds frequently, well, we have to dig deeper into that. Let's see what else. Awakens frequently, same thing, we got to get to the root of that. Unsatisfied, unpredictable, super sensitive, can't put baby down, not a self-soother, separation sensitive, etc. Okay, so many characteristics of a high needs baby, but why don't we take it a step further and try to understand what led to that behavior? Because the more that we understand pregnancy, we understand ancestry, we understand how the human experience and everything, all the patterns and things that are coming through us are not just from what we experience from birth, but what also could have been inherited, we understand it's not so simple to categorize somebody as a high needs. And what is quite fascinating and so beautiful is that through every child, we have an opportunity, and I actually wrote this in a couple of posts ago about this. It's a post where I refer to being a bad parent is not so bad after all. So if you want to check that out, I talk about this, which is that through every child, and every person actually, you have an opportunity when you recognize certain patterns and behaviors that are not serving you, you have an opportunity to shift those patterns into healthier behaviors and ones that actually can break patterns from your family lineage. You can also have the perspective that some of those characteristics that are considered demanding and high needs actually can be very incredible characteristics, powerful characteristics for leadership. And it's just about knowing how to work with them. So important to really have a deeper understanding of these labels. Dig deeper. Now, I'm also not saying that we shouldn't have resources and support for parents that are going through these things. We actually do. Our course teaches about that. We train our professionals how to work with these situations very practically and realistically, because the reality is that the majority of us were not equipped to handle a lot of these situations. I never learned anywhere until I had my children how to be a parent. I went through childbirth education and through labor. I was never taught so much of what later on I learned and researched for myself. It was through my own healing. It was through my journey of my personal and professional development where I began connecting the dots and understanding, wow, I inherited certain family patterns that I have an opportunity now to overcome and change through my lineage and through my children. Wow, I went through this experience during my mother's pregnancy that led to these feelings after birth. Wow, there's so many things that I began learning, okay, about everything that I went through that allowed me to understand that these labels that are often placed on us from our behaviors limit us from our growth and expansion if we just cut them off there. Anytime someone has a behavior, no matter how hard it may seem, it's important to have compassion and understand that that behavior came as a result from a response to internal, external stimuli, creating that behavior. It's about having that understanding, because then when you have the understanding and compassion, you can do something about it, right? You can do something about it much more powerfully. And usually the results, not always, but usually the results are quicker when you show up with an openness, with a curiosity, and with a compassion, and also with a trust that, you know, I'm not going to label this as a bad thing. It is what it is showing right now, and I'm going to be open to understanding this behavior. So if you're a parent with what is considered a high needs baby, or if you're a professional working with a family who has what is labeled as a high needs baby, set the label aside, start evaluating the entire situation, understand and connect all the dots of the family's health and lifestyle and of that child, from the history to what led up to the present moment. See if you can find the root cause of what has led to the challenge that's being experienced. And through that process of doing a thorough investigation, of evaluation, of openness, and of acceptance, we will have the clarity will arise, and then the solutions will start to appear. But if we are already meeting the situation as a negative thing, as I have a high needs baby, I'm working with a family with a high needs baby, how do we deal with a high needs baby? Then already that's creating a limitation to how much deeper we can go. Already we are bringing on ourselves the pressure that this is a challenge and possibly a negative thing. So relieve yourselves of this label. Relieve yourselves of all of these labels that are placed upon us and our children. Good parent, bad parent, high needs baby, sensitive baby. We all behave the way we do for reasons. Let's be open and curious and see if we can discover what those are. And when we do, beautiful expansion and growth awaits for all of us. It could be one that not only can transform your life, but all of humanity.